Dear friends, it is with great joy that I welcome you to the third Sunday of Lent in the Church's liturgical calendar, Year B. We all know trees have roots, buildings have foundations. On this third Sunday of Lent, we are reminded that the commandments of God is the basis of our religious and spiritual life, rooted in the love of God. The first reading relates to us the commandments of God to the people of Israel and to us in general in a relay of love and relationship. We note immediately that before God started giving the people of Israel any of the commandments, he first stated that the foundation of his commands is what he has done for the people. Thus he says, I am the Lord your God who freed you from the land of Egypt. Thus, even before God gave them the commands, he told them, I have loved you first. And he reminds them of what his love has done for them exclusively as his people. So the foundation of the commands of God is the love of God. Again, we note in the first reading that all the commandments started with a personal pronoun, you, which gives them both personal and community relevance. It means that God is addressing each and every one of us personally to join in a relationship of love. We must also note that the commandments of God are not burdens. Just as the electronic manufacturers give us manuals to enable us enjoy their products and ensure durability, the same is the case with the commandments of God. They are manuals for a durable and sustained relationship with God and our fellow human beings. The second reading contains what many, on a mere religious glance, will tag a Pauline blasphemy. This is contained in 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 25, where Paul used the terms the foolishness of God and the weakness of God. The question is, can God be foolish in any sense of the term? Can he be weak in any sense of the term? The answer is a strong no, because none of these terms is an attribute of God. Then how can the acts of God be termed foolish or weak? This can refer to God when we try to understand the actions of God from the framework of wise human standards. When the complete sense of God does not make sense to our limited sense, we call them foolish or weak. For instance, Peter, in the great confession in Caesarea Philippi, confessed Jesus to be the anointed of God. He enjoyed the praise of being a medium to divine revelation. But when Jesus began to tell him the God sense of his confession, Peter rebuked God in the name of God, saying, God forbid. Thus, in the passage in the second reading, when the message of Christ crucified was preached to the Greek, they rebuked the complete wisdom of God with their half wisdom. When preached to the Jews, they rebuked the Almighty with their half religious might. How often have we rebuked God in the name of God because his ways do not make sense to us? The half wisdom of man cannot always understand the complete wisdom of God. Since his ways are not our ways, says the prophet Isaiah, we must surrender our ways to his ways. The economy of salvation is not always meant to make sense to our incomplete sense, but it's always meant to make faith. It is a call to a faith surrender, not to a wisdom surrender or to a sign surrender. In the gospel passage, we are called to allow Jesus to enter the temples of our hearts through his words and sacraments, to cleanse us just as he cleansed the Jerusalem temple. Let us allow Jesus to overturn the table of filth, sins, hatred, the table of slander in our hearts. We should let him uncage the Spirit of God which he have caged with sins, just as he uncaged the pigeons and the doves in the Jerusalem temple. We should always remember that the house of God is a house of prayer. We say in Igbo, ụlọ ekpere, ụlọ ụka, ụlọ nkarịta ụka, anyị na Chineke. Therefore, whoever is not praying in the house of God is playing in the house of God. Peace be with you.